Yeah, he didn't put him up later.
But just present it and then you go up.
No, but I got that. So I can walk in.
But he didn't.
Remember we said that you were going into that wall, the door? It's that door. That door.
Alright, can you get through there like in the pit? Can you get through that through the pit?
Yeah, we need to start. Wait, can you hide just behind that door?
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's start, guys. We need to start. Guys, we need to start. Let's go.
Taking a bathroom break.
Ask them is easy transmitting. Please check. It's transmitting.
Okay.
Sophia, will start.
Oh, it's starting? Okay.
Ok, ¿me viste? Súper. Ok.
Hola.
Thank you very much. Please put your phones away, your cell phones away for the next 45, 50 minutes. You're about to, we have a presentation. It took a lot of work. So let's appreciate that. And how can we appreciate that? We will appreciate that by paying attention, being on our best behavior. So please, for the next 45 to 50 minutes, put your phones away. Okay? Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Hola. Bienvenidos a todos. Ahora mismo estoy esperando, hola, estoy esperando que mi compañero llegue, que está un poco tarde. Esperamos.
¿Dónde qué?
Estamos en la cancha, Francisco, en la cancha.
¿Qué dónde?
En la cancha, Francisco.
Ok, no hay que gritar, ya estoy aquí. Bueno, ahora sí, el show puede empezar. Bienvenidos a todos. Hoy estaremos celebrando a nuestra ciudad capital, San Juan.
Pues hace 500 años San Juan comenzó su historia para hacernos sentir orgullosos de sus campos, sus playas, su arquitectura, su música.
Y su comida.
Pues sí. Pero, Francisco, ¿qué tú sabes de la ciudad de San Juan?
Bueno, conozco el morro, los adoquines, la fortaleza.
Ok, pues vamos a escuchar de alguien que sí sabe mucho de San Juan, la señora Patricia del Toro, historia de Puerto Rico.
Hello. I'll speak it. No, I'll do this in English so everybody can understand. So we have this view of San Juan as a place to like party and sunset. But think, we have over 100 years more history than anywhere else in the United States. So when you walk through San Juan, imagine the amount of people who've had history and fun and families, battles and attacks. Think of 500 years of history when you walk through those streets. And it's not only a place of history, it's a place that has businesses and government and people who live. They're beautiful houses. So there's so much that you should, look at it, even as an internal tourism. So our name was San Juan Bautista, the entire island. But all the richest came in and would be housed in San Juan, in the Isle of San Juan. And this is why we were attacked by everybody in the first 200 years of our history, because all of the gold and silver that came from Latin America ended in San Juan. And so they changed the name of our country to Rich Port. All of you who didn't know that. So this is our emblem. We were discovered by the Spanish, and we had to be claimed for the Roman Catholic Church. And so if you look at our name, it says Juan es su nombre. And this is the Lamb of God. So we are a system of waterways and all of that. And if you hadn't noticed, San Juan is an island. If you didn't know, don't tell me. So it was a great issue. It's a great historical and strategic place because the island itself of the Isle of San Juan would protect the ships. And the bay is deep enough that the huge galleons could literally anchor on the southern side of the island and be protected. We were, or I don't know if you know this, but San Juan is a World Heritage Site. That means that all of the member nations of the United Nations have vowed to protect San Juan. This is the equivalent of the pyramids in Giza. This is how important San Juan is to the world. San Juan. So this is the Isle of San Juan. As you can see, it's attached actually by bridges, and it was completely fortified. So it looked actually like an Arab city, a walled Arab city, because Spain was conquered by the Arabs for 800 years, the Moors. So you can see the island of San Juan, that's the Bay of San Juan, and there's a little itty bitty bay, little bitty bitty island known as Isla de Cabra that also has a fort. This is the southern part, and if you can see, the huge cruise ships can anchor directly to the southern part of the island. And you can see part of the wall. You can see La Puerta de San Juan and La Fortaleza that looks like Legos. Not really well positioned. So this was designed by an architect and a general. So Juan Bautista Antonelli, this is his map. It's looking at the bay, so it's looking south. And Field Marshal Juan de Tejada designed San Juan. They also designed Havana and Cartagena and Cali, Colombia. But San Juan ended up being the best fortified city in the New World. And understand that New World means from Canada to Argentina. So all of the countries of the New World, the best fortifications were here. And you could lock the city at night. So this is a fortified, this is a lines of defense, if you want to call it that way. And again, we were invaded by, even the United States attacked in 1898. Ironically, nobody took San Juan. So we were able to protect, and part of it was us. We were civilians, the civilians fought. So we actually also protected San Juan. So this is literally the lines of defense. And at night, they locked San Juan. There were 7 doors. Locked it, click. This is obviously what we all know as El Morro. And it started as a promontory, the bottom part. But this is a military fort. It was even used in World War II against German submarines. So El Morro has shrapnel from torpedoes by the Germans in World War II. So El Morro was used by the US Navy. So this is the importance of San Juan strategically. It's magnificent. So think of, battles being fought in this green area. The Dutch attacked, and they made trenches. Well, what the Dutch didn't know is that all of this area has underground tunnels. And so men appeared. They're like, where the hell are all these people coming from? It was literally because there were underground tunnels that connected all the forts. And Morro was the first one. And so this is a view from El Morro towards what would be Isla Verde. You can see the bay. On the other side of the bay is Guaynabo, just for and Bayamón. So this is from San Juan out. And if you can see at the edge, so Isla Verde and Piñones. So the view, you can see the ships coming. Obviously, at that time, we were being attacked by ships, not by air. There is another fort on the other side of El Morro, and it's known as Fortín San Juan de la Cruz. When the British attacked, or Sir Francis Drake attacked, the best British pirate, which we defeated, they pulled a chain from El Cañuelo to El Morro, really, really tight. Remember, you can't break a ship, you can't go, and the British. So the ship would come and it would split the ship in half. So there's a need of having crossfire. So we can man El Cañuelo from El Morro. So this is a palace, and it was the first fortified structure. Bad location. It is the oldest governor's mansion in use in the Western Hemisphere. So this is actually La Fortaleza, and it looks like Legos. This is San Cristobal, and it's very high in altitude. And it was done because obviously we need to protect the entire perimeter of the island, of the Isle of San Juan. It's very much higher. What had happened was that when the Dutch attacked, the British attacked for the second time, they laid siege on San Juan. And the soldiers had to surrender because they were left without water. And so what we have in San Cristobal is enough water to hold soldiers for 6 months. So it's done on purpose, and if you've gone to it, it's very long down. So think of it as, obviously, its location. It's bigger than what one thinks. And if you can see, this is its view to El Morro. So understand that there is an interconnection between one fort and the other. This is, again, a view from El Morro, from San Cristobal, and see how high it is in comparison to, obviously, locations around them. This is San Jerónimo Boquerón, and this is the first place. So if you want to come from San Juan, that's Condado. As you can see, that's Condado. If you want to move into the island, that's the first line of defense. And so if they breach El Boquerón, or San Jerónimo El Boquerón, they will literally, this would be it. You know, we have them then on the island. So when the British attacked in the 18th century, they put a lot of manpower actually there. And what the British didn't know when they were bombing is that they kept building the walls inside. And I'm very proud to say the commander in that battle was Teodomiro del Toro. I want to see if any of your names appear in any of this history. So, there were 7 doors. This is the only one that exists. This is the one that gives to the ocean. Was the only one left open at night because it was believed that if you entered through San Juan, this door, you were already in the bay. So therefore, you were considered, obviously, a friend, not a foe. The wall system is amazing. Remember, it took almost 200 years to complete. And so it's been standing through how many hurricanes and earthquakes? In 500 years? Think of all the homes that were blown away by Maria. Y El Morro está standing. San Juan está standing. We were attacked by Sir Francis Drake in 1598. This was Queen Elizabeth's favorite. Tried to take San Juan. Was impossible to do. This is actually Governor Juan de Haro retaking San Juan from actually Sir Francis Drake. Then we attacked actually by the Dutch. The Dutch East India Company invaded. We Puerto Ricans, it's the first time that we fought ourselves. And we made them run, and the irony is that when they finally got to their ships, there was no wind. So we just added to the bombing of them in the bay. So we have a little bit of luck. Then we were literally attacked. This was a huge battle. It was part of an international war. And we were at war for more than 2 weeks. It was everywhere, from Hato Rey to Old San Juan. We finally beat the British, the strongest country in the world. We beat the strongest navy in the world. We beat. This is a painting by Jose Campeche. For you to know, the most important Latin American painter of the 18th century is a Puerto Rican who lived in Old San Juan. Never left San Juan. Never left San Juan. This is because he fought. So this is his battle, and this was in a painting done for La Virgen de Belén, because obviously he was very religious. One thing that is this is Governor Ramon de Castro. He was also a general. And what he's pointing at, he's in El Morro, and what he's pointing at are the Puerto Rican soldiers that fought, the Puerto Rican militia that fought, including free slaves. So black men defended Puerto Rico. What you see in the little insert was that the King of Spain was so proud, they hadn't been able to do it, that we had defeated the British, they never did, that they gave San Juan the honor of being the most favorite city. That's on the outside of El Morro. So the King of Spain gave us the honor of the most favored city of its colonies, of its colonies. And this is San Juan. This, I know, if you haven't seen this, it's because you go to San Juan and don't look up. This is Ana San Sebastián. This is, anybody know who this is? I hate you all. It's actually Juan Ponce de Leon, our first governor, and he's pointing towards Caparra. So he's pointing across the bay. The irony is, this statue was built with the cannons that were left behind by the British. When we were fighting, we woke up, and Abercrombie had left, and left men and cannons and, cannonballs, and we melted everything down and made it into that statue. So that statue is British iron, a defeated British iron. This is the Americans, and if you know anything about the Spanish-American War, we were a war prize in the Spanish-American War. They bombed San Juan. Yet didn't invade through San Juan because they wouldn't have been able to come in through San Juan. So they come in through Guanica. How many Spanish soldiers in Guanica? What, 2? How many people live in Guanica now? So again, even the Spanish-American War, and this is El Morro. That is a picture of 1898, taken from a naval ship, the bombing of San Juan. So the British, the Dutch, the British 3 times, the Dutch, the Americans bombed San Juan in 1898, and that's an American map. So why do I think the things that you should know? And this is a painting again by Jose Campeche. This is Governor Ustariz, and he was in charge of paving the roads. The first paved road in the Americas, from Canada to Argentina, was here, La Calle del Cristo. And so you have that insert, if you see the middle painting, see the insert, and then you see La Calle del Cristo, it's the same street. So what they would use, and I think is fabulous, first paved road, they used ballasts. Have you noticed how many holes there are in the streets, yet the adoquines are standing? It was known as ballast. They are lead blocks that were used to balance the ships. So the Spanish ships would arrive, they would take all the ballast out, put all the gold and all the goods, and leave. And so what they did was that they recycled the ballast. It's lead, that's why it's gray. So they're 500 years old. How cool is that? How many streets last 500 years? The one in your front of you? San Juan here? So this is La Capilla del Cristo. And this is very unique to Puerto Rico. This is known as La Capilla del Cristo Salvador. There were a lot of horse races in San Juan. I don't know if you know, but there's this road that goes actually to the left of La Calle del Cristo. So horses would come down galloping San Juan, blah, blah, blah. They would take a left. And this whole rider fell over. But it's like a 7-story drop. And somebody said, Jesús, protégelo. Santo Cristo, protégelo. Little baby Jesus. And when they went down, the horse had been killed and not the rider. And so they built La Capilla del Cristo. And it became a superstition that if you had something to ask God, if your child was sick or had a leg that was, that you would ask, and if, something, and if it came true, if it cured your child or your mother or whatever, you would give something and leave it in La Capilla del Cristo. So much was given that they melted it down. There's a silver altar and a gilded altar, and so the background is gilded, and then a silver altar, solid silver. And actually, it's only open on Easter. These are obviously, you can see the paintings. They have paintings by Oyer and Campeche, and so it's actually worth millions what is inside. And that's part of our folklore and our superstition. So this is the oldest basilica in the world. So the oldest, this is the second oldest church in use in the Western Hemisphere. It is actually La Iglesia San Jose. There is on the floor, there is the emblem of Fernando and Isabela, given to us by the King and Queen of Spain. Like, they literally came here. It was restored, and it's actually beautiful. Again, second oldest in use. This is the oldest cathedral. And again, go into it as something that is like a museum our greatest artists have sculpted and painted, and you see it inside of the church. There is even, so they have beautiful murals. If you see, I don't see, you can't see it underneath this, beautiful, glass design is a saint. We never kind of gave back. It was like a touring saint. So this is actually, you should go just for the art. So I want to end with this. There's a lot of San Juan. It's not just Sanse. It's Resistencia. It's beautiful cobblestones and wonderful restaurants. It's beautiful homes. It's, the center of actually Puerto Rico until the 20th century. When you walk San Juan, think of 500 years of people that lived there and died there and fought for it. So you should be very proud that you can say that you've been to Puerto Rico. Thank you.
Francisco, ya mismo nos vamos de vacaciones otra vez.
Ah, sí, winter break.
Oh, ¿qué es lo más que tú extrañas de Puerto Rico cuando viajas afuera?
Bueno, tiene que ser la playa. ¿Y tú, Sofía?
El jangueo.
Lo cierto es que Puerto Rico se hace extrañar.
Sí, yo pienso que José Gautier Benítez lo dijo mejor en su poema.
Ahora los dejamos con Max Giroux, Nicolás Rivera Millón, Amanda Rodríguez, Sara González y Denise Hill, quienes recitarán el poema A Puerto Rico Ausencia.
Gracias.
Puerto Rico, patria mía, la de blancos almenares, la de los verdes palmares, la de la extensa bahía.
Qué hermosa estás en las brumas del mar que tu playa azota, como una blanca gaviota dormida entre las espumas. En vano, patria sin calma, muy lejos de ti, suspiro. Siempre, siempre te miro con los ojos de mi alma. En vano me trajo Dios a un suelo distante. En vano está el mar Atlante interpuesto entre los dos. En vano se alzan los montes con su manto de neblina. En vano pardas colinas me cierran los horizontes.
Con un cariño profundo, en ti la mirada fijo. Para el amor de tu hijo, no hay distancias en el mundo.
Y brotas a mi deseo como espléndido miraje, ornada con el ropaje del amor con que te veo. Te miro, sí placentera de la isla separada, como una barquilla anclada muy cerca de la ribera. Do el viento sobre las olas, te llevo en sin lastimero del errante marinero, las sentidas barcarolas. Y céfiros voladores que bajan de tus montañas, los murmullos de tus cañas, los perfumes de tus flores.
El mar te guarda, que él cierra un círculo churroso. Y es que el mal es caseroso del cariño de la tierra.
Y yo, patria que te quiero, yo que por tu amor deliro, que lejos de ti suspiro, que lejos de ti me muero.
Tengo celos del que mira tus alboradas serenas, del que pisa tus arenas, del que tu aliento respira. Tú das vida a la doncella que inspira mi frenesí. A ella la quiero por ti y a ti te quiero por ella. Ella es la perla brillante en tus entrañas formada. Tú, la concha nacarada que guarda la perla amante. Es paloma que en la loma lanza su arrullo sentido. Y tú, patria, eres el nido que duerme en la paloma.
Si yo te vi indiferente, si mi amor no te decía, ay patria, yo no sabía lo que es llorar ausente. Más hoy que te veo en tus ojos, de tu mar entre las brumas como una ciudad de espumas, forjada por mis antojos. Hoy que ya sé lo que vales, hija del sol y del viento, que helarse mi sangre siento con las brisas invernales.
Hoy diera en la tierra hispana el oro que el mundo encierra por un puñado de tierra, de mi tierra borincana.
San Juan me enamoré bajo la luz de una fábula española.
Sofía, ¿qué tú cantas?
Ay, déjame, eso es de los tiempos de Menudo.
De Menudo, diablo, eso es antiguo. Nadie de nuestra generación sabe eso.
Pero mira, una que sí se sabe todo el mundo es en mi viejo San Juan.
Ah, sí, en mi viejo
Ok,
San Juan.
ya, mira, que dejemos que Ron Levy nos presente su talento cantándonos.
En mi viejo San
Ya ves.
Juan. You were supposed to go like this to me.
Viejo San Juan, cuántos sueños forjé en mis años de infancia. Primera ilusión y mis cuitas de amor son recuerdos del alma. Una tarde me fui hacia extraña nación, pues lo quiso el destino. Pero mi corazón se quedó frente al mar en mi viejo San Juan. Adiós, 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 Borinquen querida. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar, mi reina del palmar. Ya me voy, pero un día volveré a
buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan. El tiempo pasó y el destino burló terrible nostalgia. Pude volver al San Juan que yo amé, pedacito de patria. Cabello blanqueó y mi vida se va, ya la muerte me llama. Y no quiero morir alejado de ti, Puerto Rico del alma. Adiós, 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 Borinquen querida. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar, mi reina del palmar. Me voy, ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan.
Francisco, ¿tú sabes bailar salsa bien?
No al nivel que esperas de un boricua.
¿Y qué baile puertorriqueño tú sí sabes bailar bien?
Sofía, no creo que debería publicarle a la escuela mi amor por el reggaetón, ¿sabes?
Pero eso también es parte de nuestro legado cultural. La salsa en su tiempo recibió mucha crítica.
Es cierto. En vez de decirle cacos, les decían cocolos a los salseros.
Sí, pues eso es cierto. Ahora mismo vamos a traer a Dana Levy, Juliana Wingard, a Diana Mate, Andrea Cabrera, Arisa Ríos, Micaela Concepción, Jorge Larrache y Ronnie Levy, quienes van a demostrarnos por qué la...
Puerto Rico, patria mía, la tierra de mis amores, donde cantar junto con los ruiseñores. El trovador, junto con los ruiseñores. Hoy siento una dicha plena por haber sido aquí. El canto del coquí me ayuda a aliviar las penas. Mi corazón ya se quema por el vivir en las notas de patriotismo y acomán. La musa cuarzo brilloso con un país tan hermoso, viendo se siente el patriota. Puerto Rico, patria mía, la tierra de mis amores, donde canta el trovador, junto con los ruiseñores, donde canta el trovador, junto con los ruiseñores. Que nadie sube el nombre y que nadie calle el viento.
Francisco, ¿qué representa la caña de azúcar para ti?
Algo dulce. ¿Qué más?
La caña de azúcar representaba mucho más para nuestros ancestros. Era sustento, representaba una forma de vida.
Es cierto. El cañaveral nos define como una cultura trabajadora, aunque cuando venga el tiempo de muerto o el huracán.
Somos hijos del cañaveral.
Para contarnos sobre cómo el cañaveral definió la identidad puertorriqueña, los dejamos con René Morales, Amanda Rodríguez, Max Gijur, Denise Hill, Nicolás Rivera Millón, Sara González y Mariana Toro,
Que interpretarán Hijos del Cañaveral.
Excuse me.
Crecimos pero para que otros se aprovechen. Somos un pueblo con dientes de leche, los hijos del trabajo sin merienda, la limonada para el capataz de la hacienda.
Todo lo que sobrevive. Somos la caña fermentada del Caribe. Pero aunque la historia nos azota, somos como una botella de vidrio que flota. La central de Aguirre la pusimos a producir, sin saber leer ni escribir. Y la depresión la cubramos sin jarabe, porque caminamos al compás de la clave.
Nuestra raza por naturaleza es brava. Salimos de la tapa de un volcán con lava. No hay identidad, dicen algunos, pero aquí todos llevamos la espalda del número 21.
Desayuna, somos la marea cuando baila con la luna, nos secamos el sudor con el viento sin toalla y nos perfumamos con la sal de la playa.
Sol juega las nubes en el tendedero, regado de coco son los aguaceros y soñamos desde la misma orilla sin perder el camino porque aquí los cucubanos brillan. Viene el huracán y le rezamos a la cruz y jugamos brisca cuando se va la luz. El calor nos calienta la cerveza y jugamos el agua hasta que abran las represas.
Aquí los viernes santos se come yautía. Aquí los viernes magos vienen de Juana Díaz. Bailamos paraguas en los difuntos y en las patronales en la caja muertos nos maderamos juntos.
del cañaveral, nunca se nos cae la pava. Esta raza siempre es brava, aunque sopla el temporal. Aprender a defendernos, nunca fuimos a la escuela, aunque el toro tenga cuernos, nuestro gallo tiene escuela.
A latigazos limpios desde el descubrimiento, no pudieron, seguimos con el mismo acento, nuestro aguante ha sido digno, somos los versos que nos cantan en nuestro himno.
Hay que soltar los barcos del muelle, esta carretera ya se mueve sin fuelle. Hay coloneros, bajemos del trono, para que nuestra bandera cante en un solo tono.
Hijos del cañaveral, nunca se nos cae la pava, esta raza siempre es brava, aunque sople el temporal. Aprender del calibre de un caballo sin jinete, mira cómo corre libre, se refleja en el machete. Hijos del cañaveral, nunca se nos cae la pava, esta raza siempre es brava, aunque sople el temporal. Pa' aprender a defendernos, nunca fuimos a la escuela, aunque el toro tenga cuernos, nuestro gallo tiene escuela. No se vayan. ¿Qué? Okay. Pues, compañeros, ha llegado el tiempo para despedirnos.
Agradecemos la presencia de todos, administradores, maestros y estudiantes.
Y agradecemos a Patricia del Toro, señora Patricia del Toro, para compartir todo su conocimiento.
Y también queremos destacar la colaboración de la señora Ana Soler y a su club de teatro.
Sí, exacto. Y tecnología para siempre apoyarnos en este momento, siempre, en nuestro trabajo. Y especialmente al Señor de Jesús, que coordinó esta actividad. Gracias. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Que tengan buen día.